It's finally that time of year, sports fans. Tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, airing on Netflix, the main card of Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. The UFC fight is happening tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, Netflix. Go, go, go. Now is the time. It's been 4 years ever since Jake Paul started boxing, and finally, he is going to spar against the GOAT, Mike Tyson, officially sparring against the GOAT. And I must say, I've been talking with some buddies of mine, talking with a couple of family members about this, and some of my friends, actually most of my friends who watch a lot of UFC stuff and all that baloney. It's not baloney, actually. I really enjoy it, but they watch all these sports and they put a lot of money on these things, and everyone has their money on Mike Tyson, which makes sense. Mike Tyson is a war-hardened veteran. You know, this is like the story of David and Goliath is some giant, like what? How tall is Jake Paul? Like 6'2". David is some guy with blonde curly hair, and Goliath is literally the Goliath, like the Mike Tyson, and that's happening tonight. And I actually don't know if I'll be able to watch it. Finals are right around the corner, and I have a lot of essays, and I don't mean to keep making excuses for why I can't do stuff, but I also just don't think I have a Netflix account. So I'm gonna try to watch the fight, and this video is going to be put up before the fight happens, unfortunately, so I won't be able to make a video about the results unless something crazy happens, like Jake Paul does a 720 backflip and kicks Mike Tyson's left nostril out of his face. I don't know. So Jake Paul and Mike Tyson are both names that we are extremely familiar with, right? Mike Tyson, one of, if not the greatest fighter of all time, in my humble opinion, and Jake Paul, one of the most, in my humble opinion as well, annoying YouTube content creators out there. He is infamous for, of course, being one of the Paul brothers, and he has been under a lot of flack for Lunchly, which is his weird amalgamation of clout chasing, trying to get attention from schoolboys who play Fortnite and are 9 years old and like mold on their cheese. It's just a disaster that I didn't make a video about because I didn't know much about, and it's just a lot of drama between the Paul brothers and with Jake Paul there. So names that we're all familiar with. Jake Paul started boxing all the way back 4 years ago in 2020, where he beat a lot of just retired baseball players and YouTubers, and he beat like people like Nate Diaz. And I must say, looking back at his older clips and looking also at his new physique that is like he's going into the fight with, he's pretty built. I mean, he's not the most lean, he's not the most athletic, he's not the most muscular, but he has the physique of a trained fighter. Let's just say that. He has been boxing, like I said, for 4 years, and he's a pretty athletic guy. He has pretty long arms, and he has, like I said, a little bit of muscle to him. So I'm not going to just sit here and say that Jake Paul is going to get his ass twisted and he's going to get his he's going to get the good old Mike Tyson's punch out here. He's not going to get knocked out first round. I'm just going to say that. Well, I might take that back, because if you don't remember, Mike Tyson was literally the best. He has the, I think, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, please. He has the strongest punch ever recorded. I think that actually might be wrong, but I don't know. Mike Tyson, known as the GOAT of boxing, MMA, all that stuff. And he's getting up there. He's getting up there in age. Mike Tyson is 58 and Jake Paul is 27. So Jake Paul is fighting someone who is twice his age. But Mike Tyson, I'm going to put a picture of him now. He is built. This guy looks like a tank if it was a human. They both have absolutely incredible physiques, and they're both very athletic people, but Mike Tyson, there's no beating him. I can't stress this enough, he is Mike Tyson. And so his training is going to be vigorous. His physique is going to be literally, like he said, impregnable, like his defense. Like, my defense is impregnable, like whatever he says, whatever his accent is. But both of them are incredibly in shape. Both of them look trained. They look ready to fight, which is good, because that means that the Netflix airing is going to be very entertaining, and I really hope I get to watch it. But I'm going to say that I think Mike Tyson has this one in the bag, and if he doesn't win, it's rigged. Now let me get into this for a second. First things first, it's airing on Netflix, which means that Netflix gave it permission to be recorded and posted onto their site, which means that they recognize it's going to be a big deal, and they're going to see an opportunity to make a lot of money off of this, right? I think that this fight is a lose-lose situation for Jake Paul. One reason, because if he loses, then it's a loss, right? That's what that means. But the other reason is that if Mike Tyson loses, everyone's going to think it's rigged, and because Jake Paul is a record-known liar and scammer, people are just going to think, oh, well, he probably paid Mike Tyson $5 million to let him win, or something like that. I think this entire fight is just a publicity stunt, and I think it is a lose-lose situation for Jake Paul, but I don't know. I think I'm also a big proprietor in, the belief that you can watch whatever you want, believe in whatever you want to believe in. As long as this fight's entertaining, I'm not going to be too upset about it. And speaking of the fight being entertaining, we already have some pretty physical stuff going on between these two men here. All right, pause for a second. We already have a physical interaction caused before the fight even took place. At the weigh-in, and a weigh-in is what the two fighters have to, they have to go on a scale, and they have to like do a nice little posing routine as they get weighed on a scale to see if they actually make the weight cut for the fight. At this weigh-in event, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul got really up close in their faces. These two big, buff, shirtless, sweaty men got really up close to their faces, and Mike Tyson just slapped the shit out of Jake Paul. And I saw this on Twitter. I was like, oh my gosh, it's already beginning.
Ladies and gentlemen,
and I tell you what, if I was Jake Paul and if I got bitch slapped by Mike Tyson, my entire jawline would be 2 weeks yesterday. Wait, 2 weeks in the past. That's what I meant to say. So from that clip I just showed you, there are two things I want to point out. One, Jake Paul is substantially taller than Mike Tyson. Now, Mike Tyson isn't a tall dude. I believe he's 5'10 or 5'11 or something like that. So Jake Paul does have the height advantage, which I don't think is going to mean a lot in a fight against Mike Tyson, who is the GOAT of boxing. But the other thing I want to mention is that look how everyone, after Mike Tyson hits Jake Paul, look how everyone surrounds Mike Tyson and tries to hold him back. No one goes to Jake Paul. Absolutely no one. And then of course Jake Paul does a little, oh yeah, I'm so tough. Look at me, dude. Look at me. But no one went to Jake Paul to hold him back, because they all know that Mike Tyson is a literal animal. He's like a beast. Back then in his prime, he would make a lot of comments saying about like, oh, if I wanted to do this, who was going to stop me? If I wanted to like kill this guy, if I wanted to break his neck, who's going to stop me? The police? No. Another professional boxer? No. That's just the level of GOAT status that Mike Tyson has. His level of strength and his level of aura. I'm getting into brain rot territory here, but he was such a good fighter that he even knew it himself. He was so self-conscious about that, not self-conscious, self-aware, that he could just do whatever he wanted and no one would realistically be able to stop him. So back to the clip of Mike Tyson slapping the shit out of Jake Paul. People are saying on Twitter that it was staged. Maybe. I mean, probably, if I'm going to be honest, but there is a picture of a different angle of Jake Paul stepping on Mike Tyson's foot, which I'm going to be honest, if a dude who was like half my age and also like a fifth of my ever boxing experience stepped on my foot, I'd slap the shit out of him too. I'm not gonna lie. People are saying it's staged, people are saying it's real, but whatever pays the bills. Here's a pretty funny freeze frame that someone captured. It's no significance, but it's just, I don't know, pretty funny. Look at Mike Tyson's face. He looks like a bird. So that's about it. I just want to let everyone know on my channel that this big sporting event is happening tonight. If you placed money on it for Mike Tyson, you're smart. If you placed money on it for Jake Paul, you're stupid. Just going to say that now. Who in their right mind is going to think that Mike Tyson is going to let this puny little fat boy scammer destroy him in a fight? No one. And I'm not going to lie, I've wanted to see Jake Paul's ass getting handed to him on a silver platter for years, ever since I started getting on YouTube. So this is going to be a pretty entertaining fight for me to watch personally. And as a big fan of Mike Tyson myself, let's just say you guys know who I'm rooting for. So that's it. Stay safe.